Hi, I'm Sandra Hawkins and I want to show you how to automatically generate code in Eclipse to save you having to type it all out and just to speed things up a little bit. So I'm showing you this example for creating your class, which will be used to generate objects from. And what I'm going to do, I have a package here already and I'm going to click on that and create a new class. I'm going to call this car and not put anything in it there for the minute. Now, what I'm going to do is use Eclipse to generate the getters and setters that I need, the constructors and the toString. But it doesn't know what to do unless there are member variables, because all the getters and setters or any methods that you have, they always perform or do a job or work on changing the values or returning the values of the member variables. The constructors work on as well taking in values to assign to the member variables. The toString method returns the values that are contained within the member variables. So I'm afraid you have to type up the member variables. They are private because for encapsulation they're kept private from outside of the class, and you have to go through the other methods to assign values to them and to retrieve values from them. So I'm going to just type up some member variables here. Yeah, so I have three: make, model and engine size, two strings and a double. So to generate, I'm going to generate getters and setters for them, constructors and a toString. So right click and source. First thing, I'm going to generate constructor using fields. First thing, I'm going to deselect all the values, so that will give me a constructor that doesn't take any parameters. So I can create a car object and not have anything set, just so it'll get all the default values. Right click, source, generate constructor, this time using fields, and now I can create a car object and send in three values that will be assigned to the member variables. In the code generation, it makes a call to super. That's the parent's no argument constructor. Now by default the first line of a constructor will do that anyway if you haven't specified a call to a different constructor. So that's actually not needed, but we can leave it in there. And now my getters and setters. So right click, source, generate getters and setters, generate, and finally pop in the toString. So right click, source, generate toString, and again for all of the fields. And that's it. That's the class created. You just need to type in the member variables that you want in the class, and then you can right click source and generate your constructors, your getters and setters, and your toString. And if you don't like the toString, you can just change it. Now, so that's it. You can hang on there. I'm going to create another class just to show you how to use this class as a template to create objects, or you can move on to one of my other tutorials. So right click, new class. So I'm going to make this contain my main for car just to show you how to use that class. Put the main method in there. So car, give it a name, maybe car1 is my reference, equals new, and control space. There are two constructors available, so just test out both of them. And if I was printing back out there, if I just print out car1, that'll implicitly call the toString method just to print that out and see what it looks like. And car2, call the constructor this time that takes in a string for the make, a string for the model, and a double for the engine size. Semicolon, again print out, and the reference variable car2 that will implicitly call the toString, and run that. So I've called the toString for each one. You see, if I don't pass any parameters into the constructor, each of them will get default values. And if I do pass in values, you'll see there that each of the member variables get assigned those values that I passed in. And that is just a little tester for the car class that I created.